Okay, this is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. I've just started the P1000 recording. Wanted to go ahead and show you a couple of things. Please hashtag my name and YouTube Truth. Truth is the name of the channel. And I'm going to zoom in on the moon right now. The sun is scheduled to appear here at 6:05 Eastern Standard Time, right on the coast of South Carolina. So I shot a video earlier this morning showing the moon with a lot less lighting around it. And I believe, based on my years of recording that and photos, that the moon has a concave surface on the back and a convex surface on the front. When we see the full moon, we're looking at the convex surface, and then it's rotating as best I can tell. If you go to my Facebook page, I've got a photo album with thousands of photos of that. Please notice the perfect symmetry of all the reflections. Yesterday we could see the building much clearer. There's a breeze now coming offshore. It's coming out of the north at about 5 miles an hour. So I've been a little bit more bold at putting my copying and pasting my channel in comments, because you know what, if I can't drop my liked video playlist on people whose videos are in that playlist, then there would be something wrong with that. I mean, if somebody doesn't want my link to be there, you can just delete it, and I'm not going to be all upset about it. You may not like some of my views on things. That's certainly your prerogative to edit that out of there. Want to zoom in on this little bird here. But with what's going on with Facebook and YouTube, Google, the artificial intelligence is censoring us big time. And so I really believe it's important to like and share each other's work. I do quite a bit of that. Every time I add another video to my liked video playlist of over 2,500 or 2,400 videos, I'm sharing the content of talented creators. Some of them I have different views with on different topics. So if you want to know what I believe about a topic, just scroll through my videos, you'll see, because I'm covering all the major topics of significance. The creation, the creator, our need to be born again, that's all a part of it. What will it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? Okay, so high tide was right about now. But I've shown high tides where it would be a couple feet taller. It was a 4'1" tide a 6-foot tide will come halfway up to that middle upright there. In the summer, like it is now, you can see the hot spot in the middle, the light spot in the middle of the view. And in the winter, it will come up in the middle of the view there. Did you feel yourself spinning, wobbling, or gyrating? If you do, seek immediate help. So that's the Prince Resort in the middle of the view. Cherry Grove Fishing Pier is right in front of it. I'll be taking us out there when I leave this area. I just wanted to establish location, multiple views. So to keep in mind, we live in the middle of the view there, about 7 miles away. Now from this location, notice the beautiful reflection of the building not being obscured by the ripples from the wind, and a little further down we can see the ripples on the water. You'll see this much more clearly with the P1000 recording if you care to. I'll link it together. So seeing is believing what? What do we see and what do we believe about what we see? Therein lies the deception. So illusionists or magicians actually are using magic in many cases. There are illusionists that just use sleight of hand, but there's more than that going on, just so you know. I've covered that on my channel as well. You can see it if you care to. So the sun and the moon are local, and that's just the way that is. And I don't know the distance. Neither of them are 30 or 3,000 miles away. When I first looked into the flat Earth, that's what a lot of people were talking about, that the sun is 3,000 miles away. No, not as best I can tell. That baby appears really close, and I don't know how it works, but when they're telling me the temperature of it and giving me lies about the distance away, I'm calling them out on it. They're lying, I ain't buying. Notice the path that sun is moving. One of the other dynamics with the local sun is how it lights up the clouds nearby. Because I take so many photos and videos, I can tell you for sure that it's really, really close. When I can zoom in on craters on the moon, and I've got a friend that keeps on saying I couldn't see the flag in the rover, I'm convinced that the moon is close enough that if there were a rover left up on the moon, I would be able to see it. We don't have any high-powered telescope pictures of the moon having a rover and a flag on it. Whether or not you believe this camera could accomplish that, that's entirely, people believe largely what they want to believe. Those little white spots on the right side of the view are just reflections. Now looking at the big picture, Notice how local and small that is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move this. For a moment though, I'm gonna zoom in tight. I don't want to miss this moment of showing you where it is in relationship to that tree. I think this is probably a good place to stay for now. And that's one of the reasons why I'll back out. I want you to be able to see the big picture as well. So what I'm noticing one more time in the local sun, I'll probably hashtag local sun once again so that it will enter into a group of titled videos that I've shot that cover that. So according to the account in the Bible, the sun and the moon and stars move above a stationary earth. And that most certainly is what I observe. And that's why I'm showing it to you, so you can have an opportunity to explore that. Ooh, look at this guy coming across the water. How cool. The coastal preserve here is a sea level liquid mirror. Because of the tidal activity, all the reflections change because their elevation changes. That's what happens with that. So not only is the sun coming towards us in the view, and it's not just coming directly straight at me or at the view. We can see in relationship to where the tree is, the movement that it's had. We also have the water level falling now. We've got a diurnal tide here, high and low twice a day. And then the tapestry of clouds that are also moving to illustrate the lighting. Notice the clouds there and how they're being lit up by the sun. I'm going to go ahead and pan on around so you can see this a little bit more. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you mind if I pan on by you? Good. Where are y'all from?
Illinois.
Oh, welcome. We moved from Wisconsin about a decade ago. Love it here. A lot nicer winters. I've got my YouTube, I've got a live broadcast and a recording, but there's my contact information. You'll see this video up and quite a bit more if you choose to go there. You're welcome. So now as I zoom in on the sun, it's depending on it's very, wow, that's pretty amazing. Look at the similar consistency of the cloud structure and the way that it appears in the clouds once again. And I understand that there are people like Mick West that have all kinds of explanations on how that's not possible. Well, Mick, you're just an agent. No nice way of saying that. You might want to see who you're really working for. So even when Google and YouTube are censoring and they talk about why they're doing it, they're unaware that they're puppets as well in this very elaborate deception that's going on, leveraging artificial intelligence. People are making decisions based on false information. Remember, two kids stealing a bicycle is a conspiracy. What do we call brainwashing humanity and projecting a false reality? That's a big deal. That's why I'm outing the whole corrupt system. And when if you choose to scroll through my like videos, you'll see that I cover it pretty thoroughly. And if there's topics and videos that you would like me to comment on or review and see if I should add it to my playlist, go ahead and link it in a comment. Command C, copy it. Command V, paste it. I've got a lot of subscribers that currently don't have their playlist available, and I would encourage everybody to do that. If you're in a position in your life where you're not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth, well, then making your playlist available is a powerful way of letting people know where you stand on important topics like life and death and eternity and abortions and vaccinations and all of that. People largely believe what they want to believe, as best I can tell. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 says to everybody forever, they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion. So it's beyond a satanic deception, a little trickery, a little sleight of hand. And that's why I want to help you all relax a little bit on just doing the best you can with what you have and letting God take care of the results. It's between Him and the individual. I'm convinced it's only by God's grace anybody can love and believe the truth, let alone find it. So what I'm going to do is, well, this is pretty interesting. I want to show you the same building that we couldn't see as much of because of the ripples on the water. Now we can see a whole lot more of it. And keep in mind, none of this would work upside down. That's the reality of that. There's up and down, not upside down in relationship to each other. We don't have this setting all upside down on another side of a globe, except in the imagination. That's the only place it exists. So out here at this location, I've got videos that are up to almost 12 hours long, from the Gospel of John to the Book of Revelation, professionally merged and narrated. And one of the things that you would be able to see then, if you care to, is how the tide goes higher and lower and exposes the irregular surfaces of the bottom of the ocean, the clam beds, and then the birds will come out and the people will come out walking all around, some having to get pulled out of the mud. So like right over here, I'll show you the beautiful reflections of those houses. And what happens is the sunlight makes those colors pop so much more. And like in the view right here, we can see where oh, you're good, right where you are. Notice the reflections there, how that works out. And we can see that 2 feet more water would go quite a bit in. That's just what it does. Now, when we had Hurricane Matthew, the water covered this railing here. That's one of the reasons why the houses are on stilts here. We're in a floodplain. But interestingly enough, even though we get a storm surge, then the water can just go away. Where inland, where there's rivers that converge, like the Waccamaw River and all its tributaries and the swamp and all that, it was flooding neighborhoods, ours included. It was coming up in our neighborhood. So I'm going to go ahead. I want to zoom in one more time on the moon here. Let me show you what that looks like. Very subtle. A lot of light is hitting it, and you can see that. And then you can see what it looks like when it's all dark all around it. Just a short time ago. So now I'm going to zoom in on the two buildings, and we can see one has a much clearer reflection because of less disturbance by the rippling from the wind. So part of the decoding of all of this, as far as looking at beautiful photography from all over the world, the benefit of this right here is this is right connected to the ocean that covers the face of the earth. The same physics and properties of water apply in mountain lakes with pristine, clear water and snow-covered mountain peaks that are going to melt and irrigate that whole mountain. And then as it carries on down, some of that water will be diverted and create electricity through hydroelectric power. We've got the dams and reservoirs. And then we've got the heating of the water with coal, steam, and nuclear and solar to create steam that moves turbines, furthering the electrical power generation. And I'm convinced there's technology that there is electricity in the air all around us that can be harvested. That may be what happens with some of the power lines. I don't know. Nikola Tesla had technology where he wanted to make wireless electricity available for free to the world, and it wasn't viable by the corporate entities. They chose to shut it down. And a lot of Nikola Tesla's inventions are used in our society today. I'm using a lot of it right now. And some of it is classified as a national security, and so it's put away. Some get to use it. Some of it's military. I talked about my first job was working on a farm carrying buckets of milk and shoveling manure in the early 70s. Lots changed since then in our society, in our world. And what I want to help you to realize is that one of the reasons why I was able to work hard a lot of hours a week and be happy to get $4 a week was, well, $4 went a lot further in 1970 than it does now. The monetary system has been diluted, and we've got inflation, taxation, with really bad representation. It's not that we don't have representation. The problem, one of the problems is that a lot of politicians leave office with a whole lot more money than they came into office. Where did all that come from? Yeah, you can research it. Like Nancy Pelosi, for example, many millions of dollars wealthier than when she entered into this whole thing. You can just look at the history of people, if you care to. We're being once again manipulated, thinking that we have a choice in the electing of a president and that. Well, it's the illusion of choice. I'm outing him. I'm telling on him. And my opinion may affect others' perspective on this. I hope so. some of the most important changes in our society happens, I'm gonna flip this around, is gonna happen with you. It isn't so much what policies you can change or I can change, it's what's gonna happen to you, what's gonna happen to me. What decisions am I gonna make to walk obediently with God? That's why I do this. That's why I talk about this. Because it absolutely matters for eternity, the choices that we make. So if you're struggling to make choices that you know you should do, if there's something you believe you should stop doing and you can't stop it, like I was an active alcoholic and drug addict, and I thought, well, I thought I was supposed to be all new in Christ and have the power to overcome all that. Well, in theory, that's how it works. In actuality, what happened with me is I thought I was born again over 35 years ago until I actually was roughly 4.5 years ago on Reformation Day. That's also celebrated as Halloween, as the blood-drinking, human-sacrificing Satanists celebrate. And they sweeten up the deal with candy distribution, a lot like Santa Claus, Satan Claus, NASA lies, Satan lies. Almost everybody I've asked believed that Santa knew what they were doing and whether or not to bring them a lump of coal or the presents they wanted. I remember seeing a reindeer pulling a sleigh on a radar on the same TV I saw the moon landing hoax. Right after I found out that Santa was a lie. I didn't find out the moon landing was a lie until, gosh, a few years ago. I knew for sure that they were lying 5 years ago, so I'm telling on them. That's just what I'll do. So I'm going to end the P1000 broadcast or recording, and I'm going to start another one right away. It's so beautiful. Feel free to reach out anytime. My phone number is 1-843-504-1776.